Hey everyone, welcome back. I just went down south and explored around 17,000 blocks to find these camels because I had to generate new chunks for desert villages. I then traveled through the nether to get these guys through. They're gonna come in key for today's episode. That's right. I am going to be building a camel's stables. So one annoying thing about these camels is that they just continuously just want to lay down, and whenever they're laying down you can't really lead them. So I'm planning to build the camel and horse stables next to the iron farm that we built a couple episodes ago, and we're just slowly going here. I don't want the leads to break off, but more specifically the camel stables are going to be right over there where you see those shulker boxes. We are making our way over here. And one thing that I want the stables to be used for is a breeding ground to make the best horses, best mules, and best camels possible. So I want the max jump, I want max speed, and I want max leap for the camels. I'm not entirely sure if you can breed camels for best attributes. So I will be testing that, but I do know for a fact that you can breed horses and mules for best attributes. But yeah, I'm planning to build the stables right here, and I've got all the resources here. So I got all my interior resources, all of my nature, and all of my building resources here. And I think I'm just gonna knock it out here. And then the majority of this episode is going to be messing around with horses and camels and getting their attributes in and decorating the rest of this area. Alrighty, so the main stable building is now mostly complete. I still have a couple of interior stuff to work on, but the outside at least is complete. I'm trying to do some more time-lapse segments in my episodes, and I hope you enjoyed that time-lapse. I know I had a blast doing it. Alright, so next up is I want to build a outer fence from here and along the pathway here, because I want the entrance to be where this sign is, and I want the entrance to be along here. And I totally forgot. Let me give a tour of this place. So these stalls are obviously where the camels are going to be. I think I'm going to have this stall here be for horses, or at least the fast horses that I'll be breeding up. And then these two other stalls will obviously be for camels. And then this post here is where if I'm just stopping here just because I need to get something or work on something, I'll just connect a lead from whatever I'm riding, like a horse, llama, whatever, camel, and then connect the lead up to there. Then inside I actually have a villager who sells saddles and leather horse armor, and the leather horse armor is going to be how I identify horses and what horses that I'll want to use, whether they're jump or speed horses or whatever. And then I keep the saddles, there should actually be a saddle in there, saddles and horse armors up here. Alright, making our way back down, I have done the interior on this second floor here. So we have a study area and a little bit of a bookshelf and a chair here, and then we have a bedroom up here. So on the outside it actually looks like a big building, but in reality it is kind of small. Alright, so let's start out this fence here, and I want to combine some leaves with the actual fence, and I don't know if I want to have like loose villagers around here. I don't know. So I want to make the fence villager proof so they can't go over the fence, or zombies can't even cross the fence anyway. I want to do some building on camera. I don't really do it so often, so I thought I would. And I'm just going to come up with this fence idea. This is all not really scripted or anything, so bear with me. Alright, I really like that, and I think I can add some leaves here in with the fence, and I think it would look just fine. And also some coarse dirt, like so. And then along this coarse dirt, I'll have some ferns and tall grass. And then we need the fence to go sort of diagonal, so I'm going to figure out how to have these fence gates in with it. I'm going to do something like this to transition from this fence design to this diagonal fence design. That will be the end of the diagonal, and then I can just go straight with the old fence design that I had in mind. And this should be villager proof, so the player can jump on a trapdoor, a bottom trapdoor, but I don't think villagers can, so I think it would be fine if I do end up putting villagers in here. And I'm not really sure how I want to proceed over there, so we'll just do 2, 4, 5, something like that. So it's a 5-block diagonal, and then I'll have something like this, 3 trapdoors. That should actually be coarse dirt. And I need one more set of trapdoors, and this section should all be done. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Now I just want to add some leaves and coarse dirt along the path here. So I just want to do something looks good, and I don't want to overdo it with the leaves, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I left my nature shulker box inside, so I'll go fetch that. Should be that one. And then along this coarse dirt here, I'm going to put all grass and ferns there. So it looks like, you know, these leaves are actually growing on top of the fence without it actually being a block. Now I just need to figure out what I want to do with this area. I'm not really sure right now, so I think we can leave this for now and move towards the back of the stables, towards this area here. And I want to hold my horses in the back, because although this is a camel stables, I also want this to serve for horses, donkeys, and mules. And I have all the materials with me already from the fence, so yeah, I want to do something like this. And if you didn't know, when you have your fence gates like this in this design, when the fence gate connects with a wall instead of a fence, it's actually lower, so you can create a nice arch like there, and it adds a little bit more detail in a smaller confined space. So since this is a 5-block gap, I can just do, or it should have been a 5-block gap. Alright, I actually messed up here, so this should have been there, and that should have been a wall, and that should have been a fence gate. That guy just poked his head through the wall. Get back inside there. Alright. And then I want to add, I don't know how tall I want to go. I think, yeah, that's as tall as I want to go. I'll do something like that. And then we'll have a roof that is sloped up there. Alright, the roof is now set, and I actually made this outer sandstone roof quite interestingly. I did the standard slab method of just doing a standard slab staircase for the roof. However, for this outer layer of sandstone, I actually had stairs that pointed normally, and then one on the end, and then I did that for the following ones, for the following Y levels as well. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted a way to have it so that the sandstone, the outer layer sandstone, wasn't flush with the inner layer. So I thought this was a pretty interesting method. Alright, but I did add some coarse dirt here, and I'm going to path block some of it. And then I did something a little cool, quite cool. I added, so in place of the spruce fence for these two pillars, I did a flower pot with a flowering azalea, and that reaches the top of the block here. So it looks like it's still supporting the roof. And then I added azalea leaves here just to add some color, because it is a quite bland area, because obviously we're in a desert, and when we're building with sandstone, it just seems like it's bland. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is first add some cauldrons here. I'll then fill it up with water later. And then I want to add lanterns and candles up here, just to add some nice mood lighting to the area. Let's go up there. I guess we'll stack scaffold with cauldrons. That's good. And then come back and add some dead bushes, grass, and ferns. Alright, but I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go over here, and these are all the horses that I have, and I've been breeding them to try and get the best attributes. Unsuccessfully, I might add, that I'm going to get these horses into those stables. In addition to storing camels and horses, I want to also test their attributes. So over here is going to be where I will test the horse's speed. It'll be a track with tripwire hooks and then a timer. And then over here is where I'll test the horse's jump. So right now I want to build out the redstone for the horse speedometer. And how it'll work is there will be a tripwire hook, and the horse will then enter, triggering a redstone pulse, like so. That redstone will go here. Let me break down this wall and continue the redstone up here. We'll then have a hopper minecart on top of an activator rail. The hopper minecart goes there. And then the way this will work is when the horse first travels over this tripwire hook, the redstone will then power, and it'll be in this line like so, and then it goes into the piston. The piston then activates, or it will then deactivate the activator rail, making the hopper pull out items of a chest. And then I'll have another piston here, which will then trigger and turn the hopper minecart off when the horse crosses this finish line here. So to measure the horse's speed, I'm just going to use items. So I'll just use an item such as oak leaves, something that I have a lot of. And then let me take one of my horses. I'll take the first horse I've ever used in this world, this golden armored horse. And then you'll see that I just accidentally trigger the tripwire. And there's a number of items that got put into the hopper, and that would be considered the horse's speed. So it would be, in this case, it would be 64 plus 30, so 94. So let's try that again with me actually trying to go full speed. So in this case, the horse's speed is 56. Alright, so now I'm just going to try another horse just to see if there's any differentiation, noticeable differentiation. So let's do this again. So I go, and the piston triggers, and this horse's speed is 56. Then after every try, you have to put the items back in. So this horse was 57. So all of these horses are quite similar to each other because they're all bred between, I think it was this gold horse and this diamond horse. So you shouldn't expect any major differentiation. So this diamond horse just got a score of 61. So this one is obviously the slowest, but the reason why I bred this horse and the gold horse together was to make horses that could jump. I think this one is 2.5 blocks. Could jump 2.5 blocks and also have a pretty good speed. Alright, so that's the premise behind the horse speedometer. What I'm going to do now is decorate the area and make this look less technical. Alright, after spending a good amount of time building, the horse speedometer is now all complete. I have done a pretty good job of hiding the redstone. You can see that here's a little bit of an opening so I could show you, but I'm just putting the redstone underneath and then putting sand above the redstone to blend it all in. Now, I have gone on an adventure and I have found a horse that is pretty fast actually, very fast. Actually, let me just make sure that there's no leaves in here. Very good. And we'll do a speed test. So I think the horses before were around 61 leaves. So I'm just going to test this horse. There we go. And let's go ahead and see how many leaves this horse was. 54. So this horse is definitely one of the fastest horses I have gotten in this world. And this is what the inside of the horse speedometer actually looks like. Pretty simple build, just did the lighting with lanterns. And then the roof is actually made with gray wool. I wanted to add a little bit more color and differentiate my this build from the stables roof by having gray wool instead of standard spruce. Another thing that I have done that you will notice is I have added a lot of nature to this area. I have done a decent amount of terraforming. I'll get off my horse right here. And the reason why I did this is because my plan for everywhere along the river, I want to have some sort of lush environment. This is what I did in episode 1 or 2. In the first few episodes, I added this lush environment with pumpkin and melon farms around. I wanted to do the same thing, but less focus on there actually being agricultural farming and more focus on it just looking aesthetically pleasing. And this is how it looks, and I'm pretty happy with it. It did take a while to get all the resources together, but once you get over that headache of collecting resources, it was a breeze. And it just feels amazing to have bamboo just surrounding you as a player. It just feels like the entire area is just so big. So my future plan is to continue this style of terraforming along the riverbank until you reach this area over here, which is where I'll build some boat docks, because there's like a natural bend in the river which widens up here. So I think having docks there will be really natural. But sorry for the rant over here. I just kind of got a little sidetracked from the stables, so while building this area over here. So let's go back to the stables, and we have a couple more things to do. Firstly, let's put this horse away. Stuck on a fence. Put this guy back into the horse stables. There we go. And what I'm going to do now, it is nighttime, but I'll leave it as nighttime. Hello, Iron Golem. What I'm going to do now is I want to have a place where it looks like the stable owner is having his hay stored. But what I want to do, like, stored outside. Of course, there's always the above attic crawl space above the stables, but I want to just have a small hay pile here, and I'm going to use some wool as well. I really think that this will do wonders for filling up the area, because this is a large area and there's not really much to fill it with, so I thought it would be cool to just fill it with some hay in this quadrant. Now what I'm going to do is just add some grasses around the area. Maybe have another pile of hay over here as well. And adding some grasses, maybe even a dead bush there. Alright, so I've built this fence here to separate this paved area from this empty area over here. And I'm kind of in a weird situation where I'm not entirely sure what I want to use this area for. The only reason why this land even exists is to allow the space for the horse speedometer. But now I'm left with an area that I have no plans for currently to use. So I'm kind of stuck, and how I'm going to move forward is I'm just going to fill this area with coarse dirt, gravel, and sand. And I'm going to build 2 custom oak trees, and I'm just going to leave this as an empty canvas so that whenever there is a project down the line where I feel like this area could be of use, I could always come back and build the project here. But for right now, I don't really have anything in mind, because all of my plans that I think would look good in this area that will actually bring some sort of ambience and life to this area, you know, animals, camels, goats, or not camels, goats, cows, sheep. I've already done a sheep farm. I haven't really explored too much to where I'm able to get goats, and I don't want to have cows here because I want to do a free range cow farm later down the line. So I'm kind of in this weird predicament where I'm just stuck, and you know, that's totally okay sometimes to just reflect and be okay with coming back to a project later down the line. So as I said before, I'm just going to fill this area with coarse dirt, gravel, and hopefully work on these 2 oak trees. So I have now built the 2 custom trees. I went with this back one being a birch tree instead of both of them being oak trees, just to add some more color and differentiate the trees just a little bit. A technique that I often use for custom trees is adding flowers in flower pots. This also adds some color to the build, and also resembles some sort of flowers in the tree. But I'm definitely a big fan of what I've done here with the stables in today's episode, and the functional purpose that this build even serves. I am about to go on an adventure to find another fast horse like this one, so that I can breed them and hopefully get the fastest horse possible. But I will show this build in shaders right now, and that's what it looks like with shaders. Definitely a pleasant looking build by far, and I just love these 2 trees. They just add so much ambience to the build. But I think that's going to be it from me for today's episode. I really do hope you've enjoyed, and man, I just can't wait to use these camels and spread them around the desert town. So I can't wait to finally get a really fast horse so that I can go on these roads as well. But I'm really happy with what I did in today's episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.